Hello, everybody, and welcome for another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom,
Now, Brandon.
and we thank you for joining us again. This week, we're focusing on September 3rd through September 6th. All right, Brandon, are you ready to begin?
I think I am.
Okay, great. Let's first give some highlights from last week. First of all, we ended with the bang, literally, from the week prior, and that is that. And in that last scene of last in the week prior, Sonny killed Kate's. At that time, we didn't know if that was true or whatever, but yes, he did kill Kate's, and he did so at the Quartermain boathouse. Michael was a witness to a portion of it, and he walked in on his father and kind of began taking charge at that point. Um, Michael, he kind of moved Sonny out of the area, and then they began to kind of come up with their story a little bit. Michael said that he would call it into the police and that Sonny needed to find an alibi real quick. And so Sonny goes back to the Quartermains because there was going to be a Quartermain, I guess, dinner or something like that for all the family. And so Sonny just happened to be there. And so Carly's there. And so he decides to use Carly as his alibi. I'll let y'all go and think about in your imaginations and what they were presumed to be doing. And so, anyway, Sonny and Carly kind of come downstairs, and the Quartermain, and they kind of let it be known that they were together. Um, Now, when Sonny asked Carly to be his alibi, he never said why, and so Carly has no idea what is going on. Michael does like he says. He does call it into the police. The police come. Of course, Dante's there also. So it's Chase and Dante who kind of come to the scene, and so they begin to tell people that Jagger has been shot and killed. So that is really part one of what happened this week. Brandon, what were your thoughts? Well, first of all, let me give my thoughts initially about this. I was really shocked that they let Sonny go forward and do this. Kind of disappointed that they let him do this, but the ramifications of it seems to be shown of his and ramifications not just of him doing it, but what the family's thinking of it. Brandon, what were your thoughts?
This is interesting. I mean, for me, while I think sort of what Christina was saying is that she knew her father was a few months ago was that she knew her father was sort of the head of the mob, so to speak, but just thought it was more like a trivial thing as opposed to actually doing violent crime, so to speak. And so when we saw the sort of her shaken up by that a few months ago, that sort of triggered where we are now. I think this is how, at least for me, I feel, in that we didn't really think that as of this point in time that this would happen. I mean, but I'm intrigued by how quickly the week has sort of moved past this, but I'm sure we'll hit later, but I'm intrigued to see what this does to the people around him.
Yes. All right. In the meantime, while all this is going on, Ava was being held captive by one of Jagger's people, per se. Um, so the lady who was kind of holding Ava captive was going to take her someplace, and we don't quite know what she was going to do to her. We can make some assumptions of what this lady was going to do to Ava. But in the midst of it, Ava was able to distract her while she was driving, and she ended up hitting a pedestrian who was crossing the road at that time. Jason happened to come up on the scene. Jason did call in the hit. The hit and run per se, but he did call it in, and so he was able to help Ava and get her out of the predicament that she was in. Together, Jason did call the police in regards to the in regards to the lady who did help them captive, and and so she was taking all of three of them and being at the police. Luckily, her story matched their stories, and they told the truth. And Anna released them because really they didn't do anything wrong. It was all Jagger and Jagger's person who did it, and the lady confessed to holding her captive. So what that does is actually give Jason an alibi while Sonny was with Jagger unknowingly, but it does give him an alibi. Um, and then while this is going on, we have Christina. Christina, who's still devastated, she goes to the gravesite, but before she goes to the gravesite, she goes to her father's house and she takes one of his guns, and she takes it with her. She takes it home with her, where Alexis does find it. By later in the week, Alexis is so distraught she doesn't know what to do because Christina's home on parole, and so, since she's at home, she's not supposed to have any type of weapon. So she takes it. She tries to call Diane. Diane does not pick up. So she takes the weapon and she throws it off of the bridge. And of course, who sees this but Rick and Elizabeth, who just happen to be walking along the bridge. And so they see exactly what's happening. Alexis does try to play it off, and she says that she threw her phone down, but they both saw what it was. And then they both go down to the police. Elizabeth more so under duress because she doesn't really want to go to the police, but Rick sure does want to go to the police and tell. And so but they both say what they saw. And Rick kind of, I don't want to say embellishes, but he says a little bit more than he needed to at the police department in regards to reporting that Alexis did throw this weapon off of the bridge. In the meantime, we have got Lucky, who's on the sidelines here, still being held captive. We have Holly, who kind of shows up midweek, and Lucky, of course, wondering why. And then we go back to the gentleman who was kind of hit by Ava's kidnapper, and he ends up at General Hospital. He is, of course, unconscious at this point and does not, and so they don't know who he is, and so they try to find his wallet. At this point in time, it is not there, and so they don't know who this gentleman is, although this is the same person who was with Lucky previously. And the last part that happened was Willow. Well, two more things. Willow and Drew. Willow and Drew are together, sort of, but they come upon Sonny um, and Michael as they're speaking, and they see the body there. And so this devastates Willow just because she saw the body. She did not witness anything, but she did see the body there. And that was it. They just kind of came in together. And oh, and one last portion is that Lois, she decides she doesn't like her voice, and so she ends up getting voice speech lessons. And this is something that Tracy kind of made happen. And that these are the highlights of the week. Brandon, did I leave anything out?
So, for just one little piece of clarification, is that when we do see Willow and Drew come back home, is that they see Michael, but Sonny is already with Carly for their alibi.
Yes. So all they see is Michael, and Michael says that he's calling the police or has called the police at that point.
But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, I think that is the week. Oh, and that Rick attempts to become the lawyer for Ava, but for Nina, but obviously they don't like each other.
Yeah, no, they do not like each other. So that, of course, does not happen. All right, and Scotty's still missing, for those who are wondering. All right, so let's go to the storyline of the week. Brandon, for me, the storyline of the week actually has to do with still the Jagger Kate storyline, and more so the ramifications that occurs after this has happened. What about you, Brandon? Did you have a storyline of the week?
Yeah, I mean, that is overall the overarching storyline of the week, although we do get bits of Lucky that is a bit ramped up.
Yeah, we do get a little bit of that. And as for performer of the week, I ended up with three. First of all, I had Carly. I thought Carly did a really nice job this week. She is, I think she's kind of realizing that even though she does these things for Sunny, that other things happen when she does these things. And she is kind of tired of being used like this. But she does know that she says that Sunny is family, but at the same time she is kind of tired, and she doesn't like the implications of what people are thinking because she's being used as an alibi. That's the first person for me. The second person is Jocelyn because I thought they did. I thought that Carly and Jocelyn had a very nice discussion. Even and I thought that Carly was able to learn a little bit from Jocelyn during this discussion, because Jocelyn kept saying, "How much are you going to do for Sonny? How much are you going to do for it?" She has seen through it, and I think Jocelyn's one kind of making Carly realize that other people might be seeing through this. Even Diane, the lawyer, saw through what they were doing. So, Jocelyn had a lot of good points when she spoke to her mother. And the last person who I want to say for Star of the Week, well, Performer of the Week, was actually Alexis. I thought Alexis, being the distraught mother, was actually, she did a really nice job of portraying that this week. All right, Brand, who were your Performers of the Week?
Yeah. First of all, I definitely agree with all three of those. I feel like I would, group it in the people close to Sonny or related to him, just because I feel like they're going to get the brunt of this. And in my personal thoughts and predictions, is that Sonny's probably going to disappear for a little bit in some capacity, or maybe actually turn himself in. What we thought was going to happen at the end of last week, which clearly was not the case, just because I can see everything just uh coming down on those, like you're saying, like for Carly, with the alibi, and then even like with Michael, and then all of them. But to add to your list though, and I fully agree with Alexis too, I definitely think she's so distraught, is that to add Ava to the list, because for her just trying to get everything settled and everything, she's just, I think the acting was just very on point, and especially uh, her scenes with Jason, just because she's trying to save her own life, but in the same regard of that she's fed up of everyone just trying to use her. She wants to go on the run. So I would definitely give it to Ava as well.
All right. And now we have the amusing scenes of the week because we have to have some sort of lightheartedness in all of this. For me, there were two kind of scenes that kind of went, that I qualify for that. First of all, it's the Quartermains, and in regards to Lois and Tracy, um, as with Lois, in fact, acting like she doesn't have an accent. So she did have some speech classes with one particular person who came in. It was a guest star that week, and so that was kind of amusing to watch. The other amusing scene of the week for me has to do with actually everyone's reaction to Sonny and Carly, because everyone looks like, we don't believe this. And so just kind of watching the looks on their faces were just kind of funny, and even Carly's look on her face. Brandon, did you have any amusing scenes for the week?
Yeah, I would say practically the entirety of Thursday's episode, I believe. I don't remember everything that happened, but both of those scenes were definitely in it, especially with Geo getting a laugh out of supposedly Sonny and Carly back together, and going to tell Jocelyn, thinking she's going to take it all lighthearted, and obviously she does not. But and even Trina just trying to have him cut it out before Jocelyn goes over the bridge. So of hatred towards Sunny. So I would just say Thursday's episode as a whole, I think had me laughing, even through the serious scenes. I just thought it was just such a well done episode. So yeah, I'd say practically the episode.
All righty. And then, Brandon, my next category is welcome back. And this week we say welcome back to Ned. Ned has been missing for quite a while. So I was glad to see Ned back with the Quartermains. Brandon, did you notice anyone missing that has returned?
No, I mean I think that of course Ned is there alongside Dante's mother as well. And they're all just sort of there. The Quartermains just sitting there for what should have been the um, I guess a few days after the Quartermain big dinner thing that I guess didn't happen, but everyone was still there for. So yeah, but I feel like there's more people there now than there was then.
Yeah, there was. And then, as for my fast forward scene of the week, once more Willow and Drew, they just bored me. So, did you have a fast forward scene of the week?
So yes, that, and also that everyone seems to have moved on very quickly from Sunny. Even Michael, who was fed up with Sunny for a whole 12 seconds before saying like, "Okay, go upstairs. Mom will have a plan." Um, yeah, it seems that we move way too quickly from everything.
Uh,
So that, but also that we never got closure with the whole Willow and Michael thing. But I'd also fast forward the Drew and Curtis.
okay. And then for me, I've got a new category for us. This is the hurry up storyline, meaning that a storyline we kind of want to see, but at the same time they need to hurry up and get to the point. And for me, that's Lucky storyline. I know he's in a compound. I know that his mother's looking for him. I know that Lulu needs him, but at this point in time, really just the Lucky and what he's doing. I wish they just kind of hurry up and get to the point. The same with the Isaiah dude, the guy who's kind of laying in the hospital, if they could just hurry up and get to the point so we know how they kind of connect with each other. Do you have a storyline like that, Brand?
Yeah, so for this current week, for the week beginning on September 9th, I yeah, I can easily see that that Loki will be the main part of it. I just would rather for that part to play out, but for them to actually wrap up the whole Molly, Christina, Alexis, who killed Jagger storyline, just because I'd much rather actually see like the whole like Lucky saving the day with Laura and all of them storyline, as opposed to uh, repeatedly dwelling on this whole thing with this whole feud and who killed Jagger, and that it's just way too much. They need to keep on going, whatever they're gonna do, because I'd like to see a happy storyline, a symbolic one. I feel like all of them have went very dramatic very quickly.
It has gone very dramatic, very, very quickly. It's gotten a lot darker because it was at some point in time, even though they had their serious things going on, it was a little bit more lighthearted. And now there are lighthearted scenes in the darkness, and there just seems to be quite a bit of darkness going on.
Yeah, and
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, because even with the most recent, I think true lighthearted storyline was the wedding of Chase and Brooklyn, and then that's when they killed off Gregory that later that same episode, or it may be in the next episode, same day, and then straight to Finn's alcoholism. So I feel like we haven't had much of a break lately.
No, we haven't. And then here are my questions that I have for the upcoming week. First of all, Isaiah, I'd kind of like to know who he is. I've read some things online, but I'd like to know who he is and what is he representing. And then once more, the backstory for Lucky. At this point in time, I just need for him to just come back as Lucky. And I don't know if we necessarily need all this backstory unless they're leading to something. But all of the backstory at this point in time, I'm kind of getting bored with. And so I'd like to see them just kind of finish that. And then his connection with Holly. It was nice to see Holly come back, though. All right, Fran, do you have any questions?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm gonna repeat the obvious one before I go to the other ones, which is where is Scotty?
Yes, where is Scotty?
Yeah, and I'm starting to really wonder if Rick also has some ulterior motive, um, like because we saw earlier that he was expressing his actual concern for Molly, um, which I thought was very like legitimate of him, but then him just sort of going way into the whole like I guess revenge against Alexis by reporting on her uh, thing. I mean, it's the right thing to do, yes, but he seems more to do this out of a personal vendetta, and I feel like we've just had so many personal vendettas lately. Um, so yeah, but I think the last question I'll use to end out this one is I guess what happens next actually in terms of Anna looking for Charlotte.
That is a good question. They brought it up, and it periodically just keeps popping up. But it's like, does Anna really look for Charlotte? She says she is because she needs Brennan's help to do that. Um, but yeah, good question. So that'll be one of our questions that we'll think about later. All right. And we thank everyone for joining with us today. And we look forward to speaking with everyone next week. Have a great day, everybody.
And we'll see you then.
Bye bye.